Tried to kill me, but they still want the views. Tried to kill me, but I am very much alive. What's up, my dudes? Yeah. God dang, it feels good to be back, boys. This is my new custom track, Hurricane Island. So I know I haven't made a track in an entire year, but I've got 10 of them stacked up right now. We're going to be releasing these puppies one a week for every single week in 2020. So I'm going to keep the track making going. I know it slowed down probably more than it ever has before in 2019, and I really apologize for that. We got to get this thing going, man. This is just one of the many creations I've already got built, okay? And links down below in the description if you want to go download this track, but this is a full-blown tropical enduro track, okay? So obviously with enduro tracks, it's all about the patience, okay? So you've got a lot of really crazy jagged edge sections, you've got some trail sections, you've got some log cross, rock cross, you got to avoid the trees because they're collidable, you can bounce off the trees, you got a hill climb section, so it's very different than a standard motocross track in the game, and you can't really ride on this track like you would a motocross track, so don't try to. You're not going to have a very good time on it, right? It is really more of like a true trail track, so yeah, but this is obviously kind of going from a little bit of the vibes I had on my tropical storm track. So we have rain, we have lightning in the background, we have slick water in areas, we have different traction on the rock than the sand. We've got, there's 3 or 4 different kind of tractions on this track, so you just have to play around with everything. 2 or 3 different sizes of logs, 2 or 3 different sizes of rocks. Here's a little hill climb section right here. But yeah, dudes, I'm coming out swinging in 2020. This is the first little jab we got going right here, but like I said, already got 10 tracks made. They're ready to be released right now, but I'm going to kind of let them last a little bit, and that way I always have more tracks made and I never run out of tracks, so I never get back into that weird cycle of like not releasing a track for an entire year, and then it's like, what the hell, Spence? What the hell's going on, dog? So yeah, anytime I get like where I only have 2 or 3 tracks left, I'll go in there and make another 2 or 3, so I've always got tracks coming out every single week for you guys. This is what I love to do, man. This is what it's all about, and if you don't really know me, and if you found me in, with the past year or two, you may not even really know I'm much of a track maker because I haven't really been making a whole lot of tracks, but this is what started me on YouTube. This is the first thing I really did on YouTube, was make tracks on MX Simulator, and if you want to go see any of my custom tracks that I've made, I got that in a playlist on my front page. It's just called My Custom Tracks. I'll try to leave a link, like a little thing you can click on up at the top right of this video, so it'll take you to that playlist, but that's where all my custom tracks lie. That's the only place that all of my custom tracks are at. I don't even put all of my custom tracks on the MX Simulator forums, so if you want to see my custom tracks, that is the place to go, is the Spencer Turley My Custom Track playlist. It's the first playlist on my front page, so all you got to do is click on my channel and it'll be right there. I got 60 plus custom tracks on this game that I've made, so either way, dude, this was a really fun one to make right here. Wanted to do something kind of different. Been really wanting to make another trail track. A lot of people don't really make a whole lot of trail tracks in this game, and even when they do, they don't really make them like what I like to call true trail tracks, where you really have like tight collidable trees and you got like a lot of log cross sections. There's a lot of cool, unique stuff you can do with track making when it comes to like placing a log object. Let me pause this right here. Kind of see how I've got that log to the right where it's kind of dipped down in this water pond here. You got the log up in front of that on this long water section right here to my left that's kind of dipped down in the water on that side. You can do a lot of cool, interesting things with actual statue objects and how they bend and lean over within certain, terrain changes on the track, and you can really come up with some pretty interesting stuff here. I've never really seen anything quite like this in the game, like a full-blown tropical style trail track with rain and lightning and the whole 9 yards. I have made a rainforest forest trail track before, which is kind of like this, but not exactly. This is definitely a lot different in a lot of ways. So this track is like something you probably never rode on in this game before, and that's kind of my specialty. You know, I'm pretty good at going in here and making stuff. It may not be the most accurate, realistic, real life kind of track. I could make that if I wanted to, but what the hell's the point? JGMX got that covered. All those other dudes got that covered, you know? It's like, I'm trying to come in here and do something different, dog. I'm trying to do something that you ain't never seen before, right? And that's really where you're seeing this whole... So what I've done here, this is actually very, very unique, and I've never ever seen this before on a track. So what this actually is the bottom of a palm tree, okay? So that's like the bark, stem, whatever you want to call it, of a palm tree. It's not really a stem, but it's the bark of a palm tree, right? But see, the bark of the palm tree and the top, you know, where it's like the palm fronds, whatever you want to call it, on top of the palm tree are two separate objects in this game. So the kind of effect I was going for here with this Hurricane Island was like a hurricane came through, blew off all the tops of these trees, right? And it's kind of bending some of these trees down as well. And I feel like I really captured that versus just having, you can see the standard palm trees like here to my right and here to the left that actually have the tops of the trees on them. But it really created a cool effect where it's like these trees have been blown down and you got logs down below that are kind of the same size of the palm trees. So it's like some of them's blown all the way down, some of them's halfway blown down, you know, some of them don't even have the tops to the trees anymore. So really quite unique design here I feel like I've come up with to make all this look different than something you see every day in the game, and kind of mixing this grass with the sand, kind of mixing that together. That was a pretty cool thing that I made. And when you turn your graphics up in game, it'll look even better. I've got it pretty low right now just so it doesn't create that weird YouTube grain effect. And you probably can't even see the rain too good on YouTube, because YouTube, for whatever reason, has a tough time actually showing that. But once you get on the track in the game, you'll really see the rain effect falling down. It'll really put you in the whole vibe of the track. And then just a little extra touch right here. Wanted to kind of make a little, I don't know, a little like survival fire up on some logs right here. Thought that was kind of cool. Like you might have had some dudes trying to survive with some of these logs out here, you know, because the hurricane's coming through. Or, you know, lightning struck some fallen logs and created a fire, whatever kind of little imagination you want to have with that. Just thought it was a cool little contrast, little something I could put in the middle of the track right here and just kind of make something, you know, kind of make something else there and make it look pretty cool. But if you're wondering what's going on, like what's the border of the track, what can you, like where is the actual track at? I know that can get a little confusing on trail tracks sometimes. Basically, all you got to remember is the timing gates, basically your border of the track, is where you see this water on both sides of the track. You can see it right there to the left, you can see it right there to the far right, right? So as long as you don't go off of that, you're not going to get any cuts, right? But even a trail track, it's kind of a gray area on what's the on track, what's the off track. And sometimes when you make trail tracks too like bordered, then they don't really feel like a trail track anymore. You almost want to make it to where it has like a bit of a seamless border and it feels more like a true in the trail track. You don't know exactly where the on and off track is, and it gives it almost a little bit more of a free ridey vibe feel. So that's what I was trying to create here. There's actually a split lane section right there. You can go either way, but just the general rule of thumb through this whole section, this true like trail section, pretty much everything is bordered here by trees or rock objects or bush objects. It's fairly easy to stay in line here when you run a couple laps on it. And I tried to darken the dirt right where the on track is as well. So there's a lot of things going into play here to not get you confused on where you're going. You may get confused one or two times, but once you get the layout kind of figured out, it's not that hard to stay on the track here. So got a nice little rock garden right there. Patience is key, boys. Patience is key on a track like this. Don't forget that. You're going to get really frustrated if you start going too fast on this track, because it's a trail track, dog. It's an enduro track. You got to go slower to get over these objects. And here I am completely cockeyed sideways, and sometimes that's just going to happen. You just, you know, you're going to have a lot of those moments where you kind of lay the bike down, but you don't fully dismount. You don't fully pop off, and then you're picking yourself back up, or you get halfway up a mountain, then you got to go back down it because you lost all your momentum. You know, there's a lot. I was trying to show multiple different ways that you can actually hit this mountain section right here. It can be a little tricky, but you just gotta find different little paths going up the mountain, and there's multiple different ones there. And once you kind of figure that out, then it becomes a lot easier. But anyways, yeah, guys, this is just the start of what I got going for 2020 as far as custom tracks that I'm coming out with. This is just the start, man. I made this track right here like 2 months ago, and it's just been sitting in my files just ready to come out. And that's the same way I've got with 10 other tracks right now. They're just sitting there waiting, dog. This is just going to be a lot better for me coming out with tracks on a weekly basis and keeping that ball rolling and not getting off of that, because it's really hard when you don't have any tracks made and then you're trying to go in there and make tracks, and because it's such a lengthy process and trying to get something unique, and you want to be able to spend the proper amount of time on it to make what you want to make properly. You don't want to feel rushed when you're making tracks, but it's hard to do that when you don't have any tracks sitting there, and then you go nearly a year without making any tracks, and so then you feel pressured. So this is what I had to do to get myself back in line. Just sit there and make tracks for a couple months and sit on them, and then now I'm going to start rolling them out here. So yeah, try to kind of keep that same little feel going here with some of the palm trees without the tops on them, right? Really tried to create a feeling on this track, like similar to my Tropical Storm track, but different in a few ways, right? It's kind of a trail track version of my Tropical Storm track, and just ended up calling this one Hurricane Island, so that's what we got going on. But yeah, see, the border is the far offside water over there to the right and over there to the left. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory what the border is here of the track, and even if you go off the track, it's going to be pretty slick. So if you want to try to go off the track and cut the track and cheat, you're going to not only get cuts if you go over there in the water, but you're also going to be on like super slick snot. So it's going to be hard to even get back on the track without sliding over. But if you accidentally go off the track, then you're going to be kind of penalized more than just having track cuts, but you're going to be penalized because you're going to be in super slick water and the traction is totally different, and it's going to be a lot harder to get back on the track. But yeah, tried to balance out this rock section here to where it didn't have so much traction that you just backflip whenever you got up on a hill going really slow right there. Kind of just putzing up the top of the hill. Try to make it to where you didn't have too much traction where you just flip over backwards instantly. Really tried hard not to make that like that. But yeah, I just feel like it's a pretty decent overall design. Try not to overcomplicate the track and put too much stuff on it, It runs really good, doesn't have any lag like some of my other trail tracks have. So a lot of thought, a lot of efforts went into this one right here. Hope you guys enjoy it. This is just the start of many right here, boys. It's just the start of many. I'm bringing my whole custom track making thing back. It's just a couple things I've just kind of lost in 2019. I just kind of lost my ways a little bit, lost what I love to do and why I started doing YouTube. And so I'm bringing this all back around, man. These tracks are all free. Every single track I've ever came out with is free. But no, I'm just a terrible dude for the motocross gaming community. 60 plus custom tracks on MX Simulator. Nah, just a terrible guy. Oh man, I don't know if I know of any of these other big motocross gaming YouTubers out here that has actually made more tracks than me. I really don't think there is. There may be some smaller YouTuber out there like, Dark Slides that's probably made quite a few tracks on Reflex. I still don't know if he's made more than 60 plus actual big full-blown uploaded tracks. So, I mean, I know a couple of the dudes that made a couple custom tracks, but nowhere near to the amount that I've made on MX Simulator. Like, I've poured my heart and soul into this, dog, making tracks. I mean, it's what I've done, man, and it's just the start, right? Like, man, I just look at everything like I've done so much already and I ain't even started yet. That's the way I look at it. This is just the start, guys. This is going to expand into so much more than this. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy the first little step here, and we'll keep another one rolling next week. I already got it made. It's going to be coming out. Try to keep them somewhat on the same days when I do my track releases here. So I don't know if it'll be like on Thursdays or Fridays or something like that, but yeah, man, either way, really fun trail track, something you don't see every day in this game, and you don't even see trail tracks, period, every day in this game, but especially not ones that have rain and lightning and water areas and log sections and water log rock combination sections and collidable trees close to the track sections. So all these trees in the middle of the track right here are collidable. I don't think I actually really ran into any of them, but if you do, you will get laid out, dog. If you run into actually any of these trees, right, which they're not actually collidable by default, I had to do a little bit of trickery to get it to where the trees are actually collidable, had to use some unique, clever, different things that I've used in the past to make non-collidable objects collidable, and that's what I did here. So basically made non-collidable trees collidable. So either way, pretty cool little section right here. You just kind of try to create like a cool water rock, aqua rock area with, you know, kind of palm trees, and like that's what I'm saying. You can create such a cool effect whenever you put objects, but they're on slanted terrain, right? And then it actually slants the object itself. So then you get this really cool, like the palm trees are kind of laid over, swayed over, right? So a lot of cool things, a lot of different line options through here. Got to be careful on this section because it's almost like fully triangled out, really slick when you get down through here. Got to be really patient right here. You got to perfectly fit between these rocks right here and up here. The main reason the rocks are there is so you don't just get on top of one of these rut areas and just ride on top of that instead of going down in the rut. That was the main reason for that. So yeah, either way, boys, hope you guys enjoy it. Yeah, it definitely took some work on this track to get all this together. This is the split lane. Let me just explain this real quick. So you can either go inside right here, which is like, let me see if I can get this here real quick. This is the only actual full-blown split lane section over here. So you can either go like in between these rocks right here and these bushes and trees over here. So even though there is a tree in the middle, that's not the border. That's in between the inside line that you can hit, right? So you can either go right here, you can go right here, or you can go all the way around these rocks and take it all the way around and carry your speed around. So there's technically three, it's almost like a three option area. But that's what you can do right there. And other than that, that's about all there is to it, my dudes. So, yeah, appreciate all the support. We're going to keep the ball rolling. Yeah, man, got to keep it going. Got to keep working hard at it, and that's what I'm going to do, man. That's my legacy. We got to make it to where people remember this, dude. You got to make it something special, you know? You got to do something big, so that's what I'm doing here. Either way, appreciate all the support. See you boys on the next video. Later, dude.